In today's lecture, I'm going to discuss instruction cycle, various phases of instruction cycle. I have shared the PPT on your WhatsApp group. So what actually is the instruction cycle? Instruction cycle is basically a collection of a number of phases in order to execute an instruction. So instruction, whenever you write down a program and you execute that program, that the program ultimately consists of a sequence of instructions that is not executed in a single go. The control internally, the each of the instruction placed in a program has to go through the various phases of instruction cycle. So these are the various phases of instruction cycle that we already have seen in the CPU sim also, that how if you give a instruction or whenever you write down an assembly language program that consists of a number of instructions, how instruction by instruction the execution takes place. How the instruction, first of all, the entire program is, whenever you click on assemble and load, the entire program basically is loaded into the memory, and then by it how instruction by instruction, basically the data is, the binary coded form of the instruction is uh, brought from the memory and it is placed in the IR register. So this is nothing but your very first step of instruction cycle. What is the very first step? Fetching the instruction from the memory and placing it into the IR register. So this is the very first step. In order to execute one instruction at a time, it has to go through a number of phases so as to be called as the instruction cycle. And the very first step is fetch the instruction from memory, right? The instruction has to be fetched, and corresponding to the fetching of the instruction, what micro instructions are needed, I already have explained in the CPU sim, and I will show you also. Means the same steps would be carried out here also, theoretically as well as practical, in the practical session also. Okay. So the program counter holds the address of the next instruction to be executed, and whenever the at present the PC consists of the address of the instruction, and every time it gets incremented in order to point to the next instruction. So whatever the various phases of instruction cycle are implemented for one instruction, the same sequence of phases will be repeated for the execution of the each and every instruction of the program. So very first step is fetch the instruction from the memory. Next step is decode the instruction. For decoding the instruction in CPU sim, you hardly had given a one line only, that decode statement you had used. Internally, what has to be done? Basically, it basically determines the operation to be performed during this phase, and it also determines which kind of the addressing mode will be addressed. Addressing mode, like till now we have studied essentially two kinds of the addressing modes, two or three: direct address instruction, indirect address instruction, and the immediate instruction, immediate operand. And these addressing modes will be studying in 8th chapter in detail. Even more, other than these three, many more addressing modes exist that we'll study in 8th chapter. So the decoding, during the decoding time, basically it is to be determined that how many bits will be allocated to OP code, how many bits will be allocated to the address part, and I bit, basically if it refers to the addressing mode, then which kind of the addressing mode is there, whether it is a direct address or indirect address. So, and that for the decision making also comes actually as a part of this decode instruction, you can call it, or you can write it down as a separate phase also, but ultimately it is the same part. Decision making is during the decision making phase, it is determined which kind of the addressing mode, whether decision making further also is to decide the nature of the instruction, the type of the instruction, whether it is a memory reference instruction, or it is a register reference instruction, or it is an input output instruction. And further, if it is a memory reference instruction, it is of which kind, whether it is the direct address instruction or it is an indirect address instruction. And the last phase of the instruction cycle is execute the instruction. This instruction cycle is extremely very important from exam point of view. Generally, you have been asked to draw its flowchart and write down the various micro instructions needed to execute each and every step. Means these are the basically 3 or 4 steps of the instruction cycle, and further, in order to execute these steps, what micro instructions are needed, that we'll study in detail. Like these micro instructions are needed in order to implement the fetching the instruction, that actually practically also we have implemented. Then decoding the instruction, what has to be done, that how many bits will be allocated to which of the part of the instruction. And afterwards, the decision making. During the decision making phase, we'll study the type of the instruction, and then this is the flow chart of the instruction cycle. Generally, in that, if you would go through the previous year question papers, then you will see that generally what kind of the flow chart you get, either of the instruction cycle or of the interrupt cycle that you will study subsequently. So it is extremely very important. And then we will be solving few of the questions from back exercise. So yes, now we are studying instruction cycle. Now we are going into the details of how the fetching the instruction from memory gets implemented. Fetching the instruction basically gets implemented, same kind of the steps that you have done in CPU simulator. That fetching the instruction means bringing the data, bringing the binary coded form of the instruction from memory from some of ARF location and placing it into the IR register. But prior to that, the address of that instruction resides in the program counter. The very first step is transfer the address of program counter to AR register. Why there is a need to transfer the contents of address from PC to AR? Because ultimately we need to read the data from memory from some location, and AR register is directly connected to the memory. This is the only reason that address from program counter to the AR is transferred. And this will be your first micro instruction. And thereafter, from M of ARF location, whatever are the contents, those will be transferred to IR, and ultimately PC gets incremented by 1. So that ultimately the same kind of the step. The control will come to the next instruction, and ultimately once the instruction cycle is over, from recent instruction, the control will come to the immediate next instruction, so that the same sequence of phases of instruction cycle may be applied to the next instruction, and so on. And whenever all these micro instructions or register transfer instructions gets executed, those are executed with respect to some of the timing signals. And in order to generate the timing signals, there is a program sequence counter also, and a clock is also there. We'll study. Clock is a sequence of pulses in order to indicate the timing signals. So the timing signals are denoted by T0, T1, T2, T3, T4. So during the timing signal T0, during the T0 and T1, collectively, these two steps comprise your fetch sequence. So during the T0 timing signal, this data transfer will take place, and during the T1 timing signal, these two data transfer simultaneously will take place. Why I am writing down that two separate timing signals are required? Because in a single go, during the same clock pulse, during a single go, all these three instructions cannot be executed. If you interpret it in the context of common bus diagram, then how this will be executed, how data internally will be transferred from PC to AR. If you see in the context of common bus diagram, if you let me open the common bus diagram. If I do have, but here I don't have the copy. Let me open another PPT. How PC will be contents from PC to AR. Though you need not to go into the details, background details of this, but you need to understand how actually this data transfer will take place. That the contents from program counter to AR have to be transferred. That in the context of common bus diagram, you can view that. You can see that first of all, which number is written in front of PC? 2 number is written. Value of S0, S1, S2 will become S2, means 0, 1, 0. It will become as 2, 0, 1, 0 in binary, and as and when its value will become as 2, data will be transferred to the common bus. It will traverse through the common bus, and ultimately it will be transferred to AR register, provided its load signal gets enabled. As and when its load signal gets enabled, the contents will be transferred to AR. Now means this single statement can be executed with respect to one timing signal. Means two separate timing signals are required to separately execute these instructions. And if you visualize these two statements, these cannot be executed during the T0 timing signal, because now during the next timing signal, these two statements simultaneously can be executed. You can again visualize in the context of common bus diagram. Now the data from M of AR needs to be transferred to IR. So which number is written in front of M of AR? 7 number is written. Now you can see that 7 number is written, value of S0, S1, S2 will become as 7, triple one, and the read signal will of the memory will be enabled. As and when the read signal of memory will be enabled, the data would be read from memory and it will be transferred to the common bus. And afterwards, it will traverse through the common bus, and where ultimately it has to be, contents have to be transferred. Where actually these have to be transferred. These have to be transferred to where actually we need to transfer the contents into the IR register. What actually we are doing? We are reading the binary coded value of memory, binary coded of value of instruction from the memory, and we are transferring it to the IR register. We already have transferred the address part from PC to AR register. From ARth location, we are going to read the data, or data, which data? Binary coded value of instruction, that we are going to talk about, and we are going to transfer it to IR register. Now, when the load signal of IR gets enabled, then data which the binary coded value of instruction which ultimately have been read from the memory, and that at present is at the common bus, will be loaded into the IR register, provided its load signal gets enabled. And afterwards, so that the same step may be repeated for the next statement as well, so PC gets incremented by 1. And these two instructions simultaneously take place corresponding to the timing signal T1, and these two collectively comprise your fetch sequence. Next is your decode the instruction. Now, step by step, we are going on. This kind of an instruction format we already have studied. Generally, we are going to talk in the context of this kind of the instruction format that consists of 3 components. I stands for the mode bit. Its value I is equal to 0 will determine that instruction is direct address. I is equal to 1 will determine as indirect address. And 3 bits are allocated to OP code, and 12 bits are allocated to address part. Now, during the decoding time only, all these bits are allocated to the different components. Like in decoding from IR register, IR is the instruction register from 12 to 14. Now, this will be the next. Initially, with respect to T0 and T1 timing signals, the fetching of the sequence had taken place. Now, with respect to next timing signal, with respect to T2 timing signal, the decoding part will take place. Decoding means interpreting different bits of different components of the instruction register and allocating the respective bits to the respective heads. Like 12 bits are allocated to address part, 3 bits are allocated to OP code, and 1 bit is allocated to I part. And these are extracted from IR register. From IR register from 12 to 14 bit. From 12 to 14 bits means 3 bits will be referring to the OP code, and address part from 0 to 11. 12 bits will be extracted from IR part and will be transferred to AR. And then the last bit, 15th, that means the 15th bit, we'll call it as the 16th bit as the 15th location. So it will be extracted and will be transferred to I bit. I is the 1 bit register. So this all happens during the decode phase. Next is your decision making. Which kind of the instruction is this? Now, afterwards, the decision making takes place, and decision making basically depends on the type of the value of OP code. It also depends on the value of the I. Or if the value of OP code is from 000 to 110, we had studied in the previous lecture that if any of the value of the OP code is from 000 to 110, and further if value of, then that will basically refer to the memory reference instructions. And further, which kind of the memory reference instruction is whether it is a direct address instruction or indirect address instruction. Further, if value of I is equal to 0, then that means it will be direct address instruction, and if value of I is equal to 1, then it will be indirect address instruction. And notation wise, basically we have used this D7, and we are calling it, if value of D7 is equal to 0, then it will be memory reference instruction, and D7 is equal to 0. Basically, it is referring either of the combination of the OP code from 000 to 110. So this is only the notation, but D7 is equal to 0. In fact, it means that either of the combination of OP code can be there from 000 to 110. It means that in order to abbreviate, it's, you can call it as a, in order to abbreviate the things, the basically we have made use of this kind of the notation, so that such a long line should not be written. In order to avoid those kind of things, we have utilized these kind of the notation. And in another case, in case of value of OP code is 111, further means, that means D7 is not equal to 0, rather D7 is equal to 1. Again, this notation, it is only notation, it actually does not mean that value of D7 itself is 1. Okay, it is saying that value of OP code is fixed 111. Further, if value of I is equal to 0, it will be register reference, or further if I is equal to 1, it will be input output instruction. So this decision making basically occurs just after, immediately after the decode phase. And this is the flow chart. And afterwards, the last phase will be the execution phase. Means decision making and then execute the instruction. Now means fetching already has happened. The binary coded value of data has been already brought from memory to memory, and it has been placed in IR register. Then different bits have been allocated to different parts. Afterwards, it has been decided that which kind of the instruction is there. It is direct address, memory reference, indirect address, memory reference, or register reference instruction, or the input output instruction, that has been determined during the decision making phase. And the last phase is execution phase. Now further, now it gets executed by the CPU, by the execution unit. Now the whatever steps I have mentioned earlier, those had been elaborated with the help of the flow chart. This is the flow chart for instruction cycle. And in order to generate different timing signals, the sequence counter is there, and this value of sequence counter initially is cleared to 0. As and when it gets cleared to 0, automatically it starts generating the timing signal beginning from T0, T0, T1, T2, T3, and this during T1 and T1 phase, the fetch sequence will take place. During T0 phase, decoding will take place. During T3 phase, execution will take place, and intermediately there will be the decision making. Ananta, I always remember that you are always late in the class. In the previous class
no, ma'am, actually I'm not. No, ma'am, actually I joined from two different devices. I joined the class on time with my mobile device, and later I joined.
ठीक है, okay. So try to be on time, ठीक है?
Yes, ma'am, I'm always on time, ma'am.
Okay, no issue, ठीक है. And then instruction cycle we are studying, and during T0 and T1 timing signals, you can visualize that, you can view that, that with the help of these micro instructions, these two sets of micro instructions, fetch statement basically takes place. Fetch means fetching the instruction from memory and placing it in the IR register. Prior to that, the address part is transferred from PC to AR register. Then from MO of ARF location, the binary coded value of IR is read and is placed in IR register. And afterwards, the program counter gets incremented by 1, so that it can point to the next instruction. So during T0 and T1, you can write down that it is a fetch by putting a arrow mark in front of these two, T0 and T1. You can write down here in flowchart also, it is a fetch phase. Then during the T2, you can write down it is a basically the decoding phase. And this decision making actually is the part of decoding phase also. And here by putting a arrow mark, you can mention it as a decision making, and lastly you can mention it as an execution phase. So that way you can make it more elaborative. And now during T0 phase, this decode, how decoding has to be written, decode OP code in IR means 3 bits from 12 to 14 are basically will be referring to the OP code, and from IR from 0 to 11 bits will be referring to address part, and those are transferred to AR register. And the extreme leftmost bit basically will be determining your and that is transferred to 1 bit register, I bit register. And further this decision making takes place, and this value of here comes up the D7 decoder. Value of D7 in case it is 0, and in case it is 1. 0 ke saath within parentheses you have to write down, though it is missing here in the flowchart, but within parentheses you write down value of OP code is equal to 000 to 110, because D7 is equal to 0 is indicating this thing only. Okay. Similarly, D7 wherever is 1, within parentheses you need to mention that value of OP code is equal to 111. So in that case, the control will come to the left hand side, else the control will come to the right hand side. In case value of D7 is equal to 0, means value of OP code can be either of the value from 000 to 110. So that means it will be memory reference instruction. Further, it can be of two types, either direct address or indirect address. Further, if value of I is equal to 0, it is direct address, as it is indirect address. In case it is direct address, so AR itself will be consisting of your effective address. Effective address आपको मिल गया, तो directly no need to further transfer the address, and further the execution phase takes place. But if it is the indirect address, so that means further from M of ARth location, one more address needs to be picked up and needs to be transferred to the AR register, and further the execute statement will take place. So whenever you will be doing the indirect address instruction, whenever you will be implementing in CPU simulator, so whenever you will be talking about indirect address, implementing indirect address, so this additional line will be added in your implementation part. And but in case it is a direct address, so by default AR register consists of the direct address of the instruction. So you need to take care of this thing during the implementation phase. Okay. And now if it is the either of the instruction, if value of D7 is 1, that means it will either be register reference or input output. Further, if value of I is equal to 0, it is register reference, as it is input output reference. So in register reference, during the T3 timing signal, simply you need to execute. The execution unit will executing the register reference, and at the end of execute phase, you have to write down SC clears to 0. SC clears to 0 means again the control will come to T0, T1. It will start executing. It will start generating the timing signal. Once execution phase is over, SC becomes 0. SC becomes 0, as in when it becomes 0, it starts generating timing signal C0, T0, T1, T2, T3, T4 for the next statement. Now the control will come to T0 for the next instruction, then T1, then T2, and this way repeatedly the instruction cycle takes place for each and every instruction of the program. And this is all about your instruction cycle. And if you want, we can
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, what is the significance of sequence counter?
I'm telling you, no, beta. See, sequence counter is used in order to generate various timing signal. Without the timing signal, with the respective timing signal, these events, these are basically referring to the clock pulses. We are saying the clock is enabled. Some clock is, let me show you the clock, symbolic notation of the clock. If I am saying that some clock pulse is enabled, that means it will be generating a timing signal, and whichever the register, because internally the hardware engineers already have designed the things, and they off its own will not start working. Off its own, it will not start executing, provided some explicit signals are given by the control unit. So control unit basically generates these kind of the signals so as to be called as your timing signal. As and when this timing signal gets generated, so whatever already the micro instructions are associated with that kind of a timing signal, this will start taking place if provided some control signals are enabled, right? So this will start taking place provided T0 signal is. So just in order to handle the timings, internal timings of the system, these are the timing signals to be executed, to be generated by the sequence counter. Now let me come to basically the symbolic notation of the clock pulse, if you want. In the previous class, we already had done till section 5.3. Afterwards, I have started with straightforward. Let me show you. We have started today from the section 5.5 instruction cycle. that consists of basically these steps we already have done with. And afterwards, this is the same, this is the partial portion of your common bus diagram. These are the micro instructions needed for corresponding to all these phases that earlier we have talked about. And this is the flow chart I already have shown you. This is the flow chart of instruction cycle, right? This was your instruction cycle. And now regarding section 5.4, timing and control. The timing for all registers in the basic computer is controlled by a master clock generator. The clock pulses are applied to all flip-flops. Flip-flop concept of flip-flop will study in first chapter. In the end of the first chapter, that portion is left. And registers in the system, including the flip-flop and registers in the control unit. The control pulses do not change the state of the register unless the register is enabled by a control signal. See, this is the symbolic notation of the clock. This is the symbolic notation of clock. This is called as a positive transition, and this is called as a negative transition. And this positive including the negative transition basically collectively comprise your one clock cycle. And one clock cycle is indicated by one timing signal. Like these are basically when some electrical signal is passed on. So it is enabled. When we'll say it is enabled, it is disabled. So it will be the positive transition, it will be negative transition. So this collectively is called as the one timing signal. Then it is a next timing signal, and then it is the next timing signal, and so on. So with respect to different timing signals, different register transfer statements are associated with, and those are enabled by the control signals. And then the control signals basically are activated with respect to the and in the meantime clock also is enabled parallelly. Then only the respective data transfer will take place. This is the control unit diagram. This is a control unit diagram. This is your instruction register, and this is your instruction format basically, that consists of three components. These 3 bits are assigned to OP code, and 12 bits are assigned to your address part, and the extreme leftmost bit is basically treated as your I bit, that is transferred to IR register. And these bits are basically allocated to different components during the decode phase. And simultaneously here is the sequence counter in order to generate various timing signal, and here one decoder is used of the size 4x16. You will study the concept of decoder in second chapter. Then it is a hardware block in order to generate various combinations. If you do have the 4 input lines, it will be generating how many number of combinations? It may generate 16 number of combinations out of that. So 4 input lines are there. It will be able to generate 16 timing signals, provided there are the 4 input signals. Similarly here one more decoder has been used. Here 3 bits are going of the OP code into the decoder. I earlier told you that if you have assigned n bits, if n bits have been assigned to OP code, so at the most it will be able to generate 2n number of combinations. But with the help of the 3 bits, the basic computer basically will be able to support how many number of operations with the help of the 3 bits? 2^3. That means 8 number of operations maximally it will be able to support with the available configuration of this IR register. Okay, so how will it be able to generate the different combinations? For that, different decoders are fitted in between. So the size will be decided of the decoder as per the number of input lines and the number of output desired lines. Because the input lines are 3, so that means it will be able to generate 8 number of output lines. So the size of the decoder will be 3:8. So this decoder, with the help of this decoder internally, those many number of operations, these are the decoders D0, D1, D2, D3. These actually basically are referring to different operations. Like we in the last lecture we had done the memory reference instruction, and denote was denoting to AND instruction, D1 was denoting to the add instruction, and those actually were coming through this decoder only. And during the memory reference instruction that we did it last time, we had observed that all these operations are gets executed with respect to some timing signal. As and when clock is enabled, means at what time, how the system will decide that at what time which kind of the register transfer takes place, that is determined by the timing signal generated by the clock. So clock only will be taking care of the timings, and these will be and the control internally, the control signals will be enabling the register transfer statement or different operations, and means all the things will go in parallel in a synchronized manner, the control signals as well as your timing signals, as well as further the which kind of the operation has to take place, that will be determined by the decoder and ultimately will be enabled by the control signal with respect to some timing signal. So in a synchronized manner, D0 to D7, D0 to basically you can see that D0 to D6 are basically going to determine the memory reference instruction. That you can see if you go down, we already had done memory, various kinds of the memory reference instruction. You can, this is in section 5.6. This already we have done in the previous class in detail. So you can see that D0, D1, D2, D3, D4, 5, 6. Actually, these are the notations to be used for different symbols. These are the operations. And from there, where these operations have been obtained from the decoder D0, D1, D2, D6. And again, like we had done in the previous class, that these are the micro instructions needed to execute AND instruction. And so we are saying D0 is going to referring to AND instruction, and we are saying that T4 and T5 timing signals here we have used. Why? Because we have not begun it with the from T0, T1, because we are assuming during the T0 and T1 fetching of the instruction has been done, and during T2 decoding has been done, during T3 the decision making has been done, and during T4 and T5 the execution part comes up. So this execution basically will take place during T4 and T5. This is the only reason that we have made use of timing signal T4 and T5 here in this, by writing down the micro instructions required for execution of AND instruction. Similarly, if you go down, you will say that for the execution of add instruction, again you will see that D1 decoder you have used. Similarly, timing signal T4 and T5 you have used, because we are assuming that we already this instruction has been brought from memory, fetched from memory, and has been placed in IR register. Already it has been decoded. Already its decision making has been done. And this here comes up the final part, the execution part. It's basically the micro instructions. This micro instruction will be executed, right? So that way, this is the meaning of the notation that we have earlier made use of. Now, if we go back to the previous section, now we'll see. This is the block diagram of control unit of CPU, control unit of basic computer. This is the abstract diagram. Abstract in the sense that we are not going into the details of these smaller chips. We are not going into the control logic gates. It's only abstract. It is going to give you the abstract view of this, how actually it will take place, right? So these operations will be generated, and these are called as different decoders. These are represented by decoders D0 to D6, and D7 is basically to determine whether it is the type of the instruction, it is 0 or 1. 0 or 1 means whether the OP code is 000 to 110, or it is 111 fixed. And similarly, sequence counter is there to generate various timing signals. So collectively, all the register transfer statements will take place. Now, one question that may come in the exam, generally of 2 marks, is what is the difference in Hardwired control and microprogrammed control. That is very, very important, extremely. You can include it in the assignment also. So what kind of a question may come up? You differentiate between hardwired control and microprogrammed control. See, you can see that means whenever the control unit is devised in such a manner with the hardware connections, so that will be called as a hardwired control. And microprogram control means the control signals are basically generated by writing down the small programs, by the microprograms. Means programmatically it is achieved. The control unit programmatically entirely is achieved. So that will be called as a microprogrammed control. So accordingly, two categories of control units are there. So, and hardware control is always speed wise, is basically fast. Hardware, because if directly hardware connections are given, that the speed of that will be very, very fast. But in case of microprogram, speed comparatively will be slow. And the third difference is if you need to change if you need to make any kind of the change, then hardware connections need to be changed. Means there will be changes in the hardware connections. But if you want to do any change in the control signal, then programmatically you will have to make changes. So these are the three four differences only. There are two major types of control organization: hardwired control and microprogrammed control. In the hardwired organization, the control unit is implemented with hardware blocks. What are those hardware blocks? Gates, flip-flops, decoders, and other digital circuits. And it has the advantage that it can be optimized to produce a fast mode of operation. I told you that here the mode of operation is extremely fast in the comparison of microprogrammed organization. Another control unit is microprogrammed organization. The control information is stored in a control memory. Separate control memory is required in order to store the microprograms which are written to handle to generate the control signals. The control memory is programmed to initiate the required sequence of microoperations. A hardware control, as the name implies, requires changes in the wiring among the various components if the design has to be modified or changed. If some changes are required, so changes will be done in its connections. In the microprogram control, any required changes or modifications can be done by updating the microprogram in the control memory. So these are the three differences that you have to write down. And next, what kind of a question can come in the exam based on this kind of a question in back exercise also? One more question is there. This diagram is called as a timing diagram. This kind of a diagram is called as a timing diagram, right? You may be asked in the exam to draw the timing diagram for any register transfer statement. Like here, this is the solved example. Here, this is the timing diagram of this statement, this register transfer statement. Let me show you this one. It is D3 T4. It is basically for this D3 T4. T naught में आपका just hold on. It is D3 T4. How will it be represented with the help of the timing diagram? That you have to represent it with the timing diagram. D3 T4 is equal to 1. You have to represent it with the help of the timing diagram. This is the timing diagram. अब देखो, जब आपने ये क्लॉक बनाई, ये क्लॉक बनाएंगे आप पॉजिटिव ट्रांजिशन, नेगेटिव ट्रांजिशन, पॉजिटिव ट्रांजिशन, नेगेटिव ट्रांजिशन, positive, negative, positive, negative, this way. And afterwards, beginning from this point till this point, this during this phase, this entire phase will be representing your timing signal T naught, that way. And then beginning from T naught to T1, this duration will be called as your T1 timing signal. So this is the T naught. This is T naught during this. It will be enabled. This timing signal will be enabled during this clock timing signal. And afterwards it will be disabled. And whenever again T naught turn of T naught comes, again turn of T naught, then only it will come when value of SC will be 0. See, let me open the PPT. I hope the timing signal diagram will be there in this PPT. Let me see. whether it is there or not. It's not there, I think. Anyway, then I will explain it from the book only. I think it's not there. No issue. Yes. You have to represent this statement. Let me open one doc file. Hmm. Yes. You have to draw the timing diagram for the statement. Which is your register transfer statement, this kind of a statement. D4 T3 is D3 T4 is equal to 1 and SC is cleared to 0. During this time, the SC is cleared to 0. Basically, D3 T4, basically this is the part that it is going to show. This portion, common portion, D3 will be activated during the T3 timing signal. Basically, T3 will be activated from, this is the T3. This duration will be from T2 to T3. This entirely will be termed as T3. So D3 decoder will be enabled during this time. T4 by default has been enabled. When it turns come, turn will come from T3 to T4. It is enabled during this time. And SC is cleared. SC is cleared means SC is enabled. SC is basically clear. Clear will be at what time? Whenever D3 and D4 coincide. When there is a common part of D3 and T4, this is the common part. SC is clear. So notation wise, we just make it high, means in a sense it is enabled. It is activated, active. Basically, it is active. Active in the sense that whenever SC is cleared, then what has to be done? So subsequent sequence that will be generated will be T0, T1, T2, T3, T4, T5. अगर आपका SC यहाँ पे क्लियर नहीं होता, सॉरी, अगर SC क्लियर नहीं होता तो डिफॉल्ट ऑर्डर में T4 के बाद T5 आता, T5 के बाद 6 आता, 6 के बाद 7 आता, और T5 के साथ अगर कोई आपके रजिस्टर ट्रांसफर एसोसिएटेड होती तो बाय डिफॉल्ट वो एग्जीक्यूट होना स्टार्ट होता, फिर T6 के साथ होता, फिर T7 होता और सो ऑन होता. लेकिन द सिस्टम वांट्स द कंट्रोल टू रीच टू दोस काइंड ऑफ द स्टेटमेंट्स जो T2 नॉट के साथ एसोसिएटेड है. अब T नॉट के साथ एसोसिएटेड है तो इंटरनली कैसे सेटिंग है कि जैसे T नॉट वाली को एग्जीक्यूट करना है, नाउ द सिस्टम नोज कि अब सिस्टम को पता है कि T नॉट के साथ कोई रजिस्टर ट्रांसफर एसोसिएट की गई है, उनकी टर्न है, तो SC will become clear at that moment. As and when it will become clear, so that means अब next वाली, इसका impact क्या हुआ, next वाली sequence T0, T1, T2, T3 and so on execute होनी start हो गई. तो आपकी basically clock किस टाइप की आपकी clock हुई? ये आपका clock है. This will be called as your positive transition. And this will be called as a negative transition. Again, next timing signal के लिए, this is called as a positive transition. This is a positive transition, and this will be called as a next is negative transition. Again, this is your positive transition. And this will be your next is, and so on. This is your negative transition. So from this point to beginning from this point to, this is a positive transition, this is a negative transition, and including one positive and one negative entirely will be termed as your one clock cycle. This will be called as your one clock cycle. So this will be called as a T0 timing signal. T0. This is a one T0 timing signal, and parallelly you can show its signal also. What kind of a signal? So this is your T0 timing signal. It is enabled during this time. This is enabled T0 timing signal. And then from this point to this point, T1 is a timing signal. From this to this, T2 to timing signal. So by default, you can see this kind of the diagram, and D3 by default gets activated at T2 timing signal. It will remain. D0 gets activated by default with T0. D1 gets activated with respect to this timing signal, means sequentially, so on. But in between is some kind of the change is required. So in that case, the SC basically gets introduced. SC at any moment can be cleared if in a planned manner, wherever the next, if there is a desired sequence to be executed related to the T0 timing signal, means it requires to generate the next timing signal at any moment in between. At that point, SC gets cleared, and as and when SC gets cleared, the next timing signal will be T0, T2, T3. अब इसके लिए जो आपको शो करना है, किसके लिए बेसिकली टाइमिंग डायग्राम आपने इस टाइप का बनाया, और बेसिकली किस प्रॉब्लम के लिए आपको शो करना है, इस प्रॉब्लम के लिए करना है कि D3 T4, ये बेसिकली ये स्टेटमेंट है, ये यस D3 T4 basically you have to show the timing diagram for this. It gets activated and it gets activated, and at this moment SC becomes clear. इसके लिए टाइम सिग्नल है. We are not going into the details कि D3 actually है क्या ये AND को represent कर रहा है, क्या ये ADD को कर रहा है, या किसी और के लिए कर रहा है. We are assuming, we are not going into this is the abstract register transfer statement. Abstract in the sense we are not going into its executional details. We only are understanding the overview of how basically it appears to us. So D3 D4 को टाइमिंग डायग्राम में आपको कहाँ अकोमोडेट करना है, D3 T4 को यहाँ से एनेबल्ड होना स्टार्ट हुआ, तो D3 का T4 आपका कॉमन पार्ट क्या है, ये पार्ट है कॉमन, और SC भी इस मोमेंट पे क्लियर हुआ, तो यहाँ एक सर्कल लगाकर एरो डालकर आप लिख देना D3 T4 कॉलन SC बिकम्स क्लियर 0, और उसके बाद T0 T1 T3 टाइमिंग सिग्नल जनरेट हो जाएंगे. अगर इसके प्लेस पे अगर ऐसे होता, अगर ऐसा होता आपका D3 और T7 और SC बिकम्स क्लियर D3 T7, तो आप T7 तक जाते, यहाँ T7 तक जाते, फिर जाके आपका वहां जाके T7 पे SC क्लियर होता, और उसके बाद फिर टाइमिंग सिग्नल आपके T0 T1 T2 T3 ऐसे जनरेट होते. So this is your timing diagram. अब बैक एक्सरसाइज पे यू विल गेट अ सिमिलर काइंड ऑफ अ क्वेश्चन. This is the longest chapter of your course, fifth chapter. Otherwise, all other chapters are not that much lengthy. Those are very short. And we are about to complete this chapter. See, question number 5.8 is of a similar type. Draw a timing diagram similar to the figure 5.7, assuming that SC is clear to 0 at time T3. ये आपको बनाना है. If control signal C7 is activated, C7 को T3 के ड्यूरेशन में एक्टिव बनाना है. आपको दिखाना है, कॉमन दिखाना है. एंड C7 is activated with the positive clock transition associated with T1. You can this is
मैम.
एक मिनट जस्ट होल्ड ऑन. पहले इस पे आइए. फाइव पॉइंट एट, ये आपका 5.8 है. ये देखिए, इसको आप कैसे रिप्रेजेंट करेंगे. T7 T3 का you have to show through the timing diagram. At this moment, SC goes to SC becomes clear, right? You have to show it with the help of the timing diagram. Prior to that, C7 gets activated during T1 timing signal. But देखो उसमें because explicitly it is mentioned in your statement, in your problem, कि C7 gets activated during the T1 timing signal, and ultimately during this timing signal, which T3 timing signal, SC becomes 0. It goes to 0. As and when it goes to 0, तो next sequence कब से start हो जाएगी? T3 के बाद T0, ये T0, T1, T2 and T3. So that way you have to show. Again, I'm going to read out the statement. क्या statement है आपकी? Draw a timing diagram similar to figure 5.7, assuming that SC is clear to 0 at time T3. T3 पे SC is at time T3 पे it becomes clear if control signal C7 is active. इसको आपको show करना है. Prior to that, C7 is activated with a positive clock transition associated with T1. ये T1 पे active हो गया था earlier. C7 T1 duration में active हो गया था. Afterwards, this basically you have to focus on this point. Yes, please. Yes, beta. Somebody interrupted. Is that clear? Should I continue with the next problem?
मैम एक बार ये रिपीट कर दो प्लीज. 5.8 क्वेश्चन नंबर.
5.6 आपका क्या है? ध्यान से 5.8 है rather. Draw a timing diagram similar to figure 5.7. आपको बेसिकली इस चीज को शो करना है कि T3 पे T3, C7 और SC जो है कॉमन कहां पर आ रहा है. और T3 पे SC 0 होने का क्या मतलब है कि एक तो उसे SC को आपको हायर एज दिखाना है. हायर एज का मतलब ये क्लियर हो गया. हायर एज का मतलब SC की वैल्यू 0 हो गई. लोअर एज मतलब SC 0 नहीं है, वो कंटिन्यूएशन में चल रहा है. जैसे ये 0 होगा इसका मतलब नेक्स्ट टाइमिंग सिग्नल T0, T1, T2 स्टार्ट होगी. इसका इफेक्ट दिखाना है बेसिकली कि SC का वैल्यू 0 होते ही क्या नेक्स्ट टाइमिंग सिग्नल जनरेट होगी. इस मोमेंट पे हुआ. जिस भी टाइमिंग सिग्नल में इन बिटवीन अगर वो सीक्वेंशली चल रहा है कोई काम और इन बिटवीन सीक्वेंशली नहीं चलाना, इंटरवीन करके जो है किसी और रजिस्टर ट्रांसफर को स्टेटमेंट को एग्जीक्यूट करना है जो T0 ऑनवर्ड स्टार्ट हो रही है, किसी और सीक्वेंस ऑफ स्टेटमेंट्स को करना है, तो उसके लिए SC विल हैव टू बी क्लियर. तो यहाँ इसका इफेक्ट दिखाने के लिए बेसिकली टाइमिंग सिग्नल डायग्राम है ये कि अगर इस पॉइंट पर आपको जहां कॉमन आ रहे हैं किस पॉइंट पे SC क्लियर हो रहा है T3 पे, जबकि डिकोडर C7 भी T3 पे enabled था, बट प्रायर टू दैट वो T1 पे enable हो गया था. तो पैरेलल एट दिस पॉइंट पैरेलली C7 भी enabled है और T3 टाइमिंग सिग्नल है, और एट दिस पॉइंट SC becomes 0. और एज एंड व्हेन SC becomes 0, एक तो उसे हायर एज दिखाना है, इसका भी C7 का भी हायर एज की एनेबल्ड है, T3 का भी हायर एज की एनेबल हो चुका है। तो ये तीनों के हायर एज बेसिकली अल्टीमेटली SC का 0 होने का इफेक्ट क्या आ रहा है, इसकी नेक्स्ट टाइमिंग सिग्नल जो T4 आना चाहिए था T3 के बाद, अब T4 T5 ना आके फिर से T0 T1 T2 से स्टार्ट हो जाएगी। यस, बेसिकली द ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ द क्वेश्चन इज टू शो दिस थिंग। शुड आई कंटिन्यू
मैम
द
बट
नेक्स्ट कॉन्सेप्ट?
हमें कैसे पता चलेगा कि C7 कहाँ से एक्टिवेट हुआ है?
लिखा है ना इसमें, प्रॉब्लम में लिखा है C7 इज एक्टिवेटेड विद द पॉजिटिव क्लॉक ट्रांजिशन एसोसिएटेड विद T1, ये लिखा हुआ तुम्हारे सामने। अगर नहीं लिखा हुआ तो बाय डिफॉल्ट वो लिखा हुआ है ना, तो हमें एज पर द गिवन स्टेटमेंट जाना है। ओके, और ऊपर वाले में D3 नहीं लिखा हुआ था, तो बाय डिफॉल्ट वो T3 के साथ हमने दिखाया था ऊपर वाली प्रॉब्लम में। देखो उसमें आप देखेंगे तो ये टाइमिंग डायग्राम अपने असाइनमेंट में ऐड करेंगे, जो सॉल्व वाला क्वेश्चन भी है और जो एक्सरसाइज का भी है, बिकॉज एग्जाम में स्टेटमेंट चेंज करके क्वेश्चन आ सकता है आपका, इसी टाइप का आ सकता है। ये देखिए D3 T4, यहाँ D3 कब एक्टिवेटेड होगा, तो ये नहीं लिखा हुआ था, तो D3 को बाय डिफॉल्ट हम T3 के साथ मान रहे हैं कि T3 टाइमिंग सिग्नल में ही एक्टिवेट हो गया। D0 T0 के साथ हुआ, D1 T1 के साथ हुआ, D2 T2 के साथ हुआ और D3 T3 के साथ हुआ, लेकिन वो एनेबल्ड ही रहेगा। फिर ये कॉमन पोर्शन तीनों का था, ये सोल्यूशन है। ओके, और उस जो बैक एक्सरसाइज में सॉल्व है उसमें लिखा हुआ एक्सप्लिसिटली कि C7 जो एक्टिव हुआ विद रिस्पेक्ट टू टाइमिंग सिग्नल T1 हुआ, राइट? नाउ आई वुड लाइक टू स्विच टू द रिमेनिंग क्वेश्चंस ऑफ बैक एक्सरसाइज। Are you solving the that all the assignments that I have given you based on 5th chapter? Are you doing or not? Let me know. आप सारे अपलोड करेंगे कंप्लीट करके। Each of you have to solve each of the question that I am telling you. I'm not going to repeat the same thing again and again. इस टाइप के क्वेश्चन आपका एग्जाम्स में आते हैं, और इस टाइप का भी क्वेश्चन आ सकता है कि जो आपने मेमोरी रेफरेंस इंस्ट्रक्शंस किए हैं, लाइक दीज आर द मेमोरी रेफरेंस इंस्ट्रक्शंस, कि दिस इज इन सेक्शन 5.6। मेमोरी रेफरेंस इंस्ट्रक्शन में कि गिवन what micro instructions are needed in order to execute this memory reference instruction and, तो आपको इस टाइप की इंस्ट्रक्शंस देनी होंगी। एंड सिमिलरली ये इस टाइप ऐड है तो उसके लिए ये देनी होंगी, लोड है दिस ऑलरेडी वी हैव डन, और इस टाइप के आपके एग्जाम में आते हैं, दैट्स आई एम टेलिंग यू इन एडवांस। ब्रांच अनकंडीशनली है तो ये देनी होंगी, स्टोर टू एसी है तो इस टाइप का आएगा आपका, एंड दैट वे ब्रांच एंड सेव एड्रेस, राइट? नाउ आई एम कमिंग टू द बैक एक्सरसाइज फर्स्ट। अच्छा, उससे पहले एक बार रजिस्टर रेफरेंस इंस्ट्रक्शंस कर लेते हैं, बिकॉज फ्यू ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस आर बेस्ड ऑन register reference instructions. We have done with 5.4. Afterwards 5.5 we have done with, ये सारे के सारे जो है I'm telling you कि all the questions are extremely very important. Instruction cycle we have done with, इसका flow chart आता है, इसके micro instructions आती हैं एग्जाम में। ये वही, ये आपको करने की जरूरत नहीं है, ये बेसिकली इसकी नोटेशंस हैं, नथिंग एल्स, अदरवाइज द मीनिंग इज सेम। एंड देन इज द रजिस्टर रेफरेंस इंस्ट्रक्शन, ये कर लेते हैं एक बार, कर लेते हैं अभी लिस्ट में। एंड मेमोरी रेफरेंस इंस्ट्रक्शंस वी ऑलरेडी हैव डन विद, ये हम कर चुके हैं मेमोरी रेफरेंस इंस्ट्रक्शन की डिटेल। ओके, एंड आफ्टरवर्ड्स दिस ऑलरेडी वी हैव डन, इसी की सारी कंसोलिडेटेड फॉर्म में आपको शो किया हुआ है मेमोरी रेफरेंस इंस्ट्रक्शन का। एंड ऐड और अंडर द बॉक्सेस वेरियस माइक्रो इंस्ट्रक्शंस आर मेंशन्ड दैट वी ऑलरेडी हैव डन विद। Then there only the last section will be left, input, output and interrupt. And this from this section generally only this Only the interrupt cycle flow chart is extremely very important. One is your instruction cycle flow chart. Another is your interrupt cycle flow chart. Is very extremely very important. Generally, it comes in exams. And वो flow chart cycle आपको करना है. और this then complete computer description. Again, this is the repetitive things, kind of the things. ये सारा का सारा design of a basic computer. Memory unit is 4096 word. 9 registers are required. 7 flip flops. 1 bit register आपका basically flip flops का है. Decoder ये सब basically we already have done with. These are the no need to go for these. Same की same चीज आपका हमने ये किया था. Instruction cycle किया था. This is the instruction cycle only. ये आपका you can see that this is the instruction cycle only. Yes, we already have done with. वो सारे इंस्ट्रक्शंस को कंसोलिडेट करके लिखा हुआ है. मेमोरी रेफरेंस इंस्ट्रक्शन को, रजिस्टर रेफरेंस इंस्ट्रक्शन को विल डू द रजिस्टर रेफरेंस, एंड देन इनपुट आउटपुट इंस्ट्रक्शंस को लिखा हुआ है आपका कंसोलिडेट करके. एंड यही आपका बेसिकली कहाँ तक है आपका. एक बार लेट मी गो थ्रू द गाइडलाइंस. लेट मी ओपन गाइडलाइंस. किस पेज तक है आपका. These are your guidelines. Fifth chapter, we are about to end the fifth chapter. We'll discuss back exercise question as well as we'll discuss the register reference instruction. It is till section 8.8 only. You can see. No, sorry. It is till section 5.8 and 5.9. 5.9 up to page 159. 5.9. It is 5.9, 159. So it is till page 159 in your course. So it is till this point only. No need to go for the remaining pages. This 159 pages. Okay. So this maximum portion we already have covered up. Now the few topics. One is the back exercise question, and then register reference instructions and interrupt cycle also. Right. First of all, I am coming to register reference instructions. These are your yes. These are the list of register reference instruction, and practically also you start implementing memory reference instruction and register reference instruction. Right. And I will send you the recorded lectures also for this practical implementation. You can refer to that. It's available on my YouTube channel. And what are the register reference instructions? CLA. Very first is the CLA is the clear AC. Clear AC basically. I have a separate PPT also for it. Let me see. Detailed explanation is given. Yesterday I was going through the PPT, then I had seen somewhere detailed explanation I had written. I'm looking for that. So register reference instructions. Somewhere I had written. Where was it? Let me. Okay, this is the interrupt cycle PPT. I will send you also this PPT, interrupt cycle flowchart PPT. And in addition to that, I had seen. I think this one. Let me see. Where is that? This is for instruction cycle. These are the back exercise solutions of the back exercise questions we'll discuss, no doubt. But prior to that, I would like to elaborate you register reference instructions. Let me see. इसमें तो नहीं है आपका. Let me see. Is there any other PPT? इसमें भी I think it was not there. We already had done with. No, it is entirely based on memory reference instructions that I have shared with you. And then the last one is this one. Let me see. इसमें कहाँ है आपकी register reference? I think I will have to go through it. I had seen yesterday that circular shift left and circular shift right was elaborated in a very good manner. That I have to show it to you. Where is that PPT? I'm looking for that. No, it's not. This one, I think. Was there? Anyway, then I will explain myself. I could not find it, but it was there. Somewhere I had seen. I'm not being able to find it. Anyway, we'll do it from the book. Once again, let me go through. All these are the memory reference. Try this one, I think. Yes. This one. This I wanted to show you. So these are the register reference instructions. These are the register reference instruction. I already had shown you this instruction format. And this is basically R is equal to 1, D7, T3, and this R. D7 is the decoder when its value is 1. T3 timing signal में basically एग्जीक्यूशन T0, T1, T2 तक आपका फेचिंग हुआ और आपका डिकोडिंग हुआ. T3 में आपका डिसीजन मेकिंग हुआ. ये आपका डिसीजन मेकिंग है कि रजिस्टर रेफरेंस इंस्ट्रक्शन है और आपका बेसिकली इट विल बी कॉमन टू ऑल. सो नो नीड टू गो इनटू द डिटेल्स ऑफ दिस. ये नोटेशंस है सिर्फ आपकी इसी को सिंबॉलिकली इसी को रिप्रेजेंट करने के लिए. It is basically going to refer to this symbolically. Basically, we need to focus on these micro instructions. These are extremely very important, right? So we'll go one by one to all these instructions because all these are needed in solving the back exercise question as well. CLA आपको किस क्या वो कर रहा है, represent कर रहा है? Yes. CLA basically is going to this. CLA stands for clear AC. Clear AC means it will clear the contents of AC. It will make the contents of 0. It will initialize the contents of AC by all zeros. And what micro instruction is needed in order to execute this instruction clear AC? This one, this instruction is needed. And what is the function of this register reference? clear AC. And you have to implement programmatically also. Corresponding to this, in your course contents, there one program is one or three programs rather. One program is based on circular shift right, circular shift left. One program is based on these 4 instructions, and the one another program, separate program, is based on the last 4 instructions. So that way, based on this register reference instructions, 3 separate programs are there in your program list. And these micro instructions will be needed in order to execute these instructions. Now, in the next class, as many questions, practical class, that is now scheduled to be held on Friday morning. Okay, so try to complete as many as, and we'll discuss the practical portion in our theory class as well, on which is scheduled on Thursday. We'll discuss this practical portion also. So as many programs as you are being able to execute, do by that time, by Thursday. We'll discuss on Thursday. एंड क्लियर एसी क्या करेगा, एसी के कंटेंट्स को 0 करेगा. क्लियर ई क्या करेगा, ई इज अ 1 बिट रजिस्टर, इसकी वैल्यू को क्लियर करेगा. एंड सीएमए बेसिकली इट विल कॉम्प्लीमेंट द कंटेंट्स ऑफ एसी एंड इट विल ट्रांसफर द complemented value once complement, it will take the once complemented value of AC to the AC register, so it will complement AC. और CME क्या करता है, it will complement the contents of E is a 1 bit register, इसकी वैल्यू अगर 0 है तो 1 हो जाएगी, 1 है तो 0 हो जाएगी. सर्कुलर शिफ्ट राइट ये क्या करता है, सर्कुलर शिफ्ट राइट बेसिकली एसी के कंटेंट्स की राइट में शिफ्टिंग करेगा, बिट बाय बिट शिफ्टिंग करेगा. शिफ्टेड वैल्यू को एक्सट्रीम राइट मोस्ट बिट को एक्सट्रैक्ट करेगा. एक्सट्रीम राइट मोस्ट बिट मतलब 0th बिट को निकाल के ई में डालेगा 1 बिट रजिस्टर में, और फिर ई से उठा के 15th बिट पोजीशन में डालेगा. Circular shift, how it actually works, it works in this manner. It will work in this manner. It means these are the micro instructions needed to execute circular shift. These are the micro instructions, and programmatically also you have to write down, and in theory question also these kind of micro instructions may be asked. So how this circular shift will work? Circular shift क्या करेगा? It will shift the content of AC register bit by bit to the extreme right hand side. तो अगर ये 16 बिट रजिस्टर है, बिट बाय बिट जो एक्सट्रीम राइट मोस्ट बिट है, एक्सट्रीम राइट मोस्ट बिट मतलब 0th बिट वाली लोकेशन से जो भी बिट आया उसे निकाल के ई में डाला, ई से फिर 15th बिट पोजीशन में डाला. सर्कुलर मैनर में यहाँ से बिट उठा के बिगिनिंग वाली पोजीशन, लेफ्ट वाली पोजीशन पे प्लेस कराना है. तो इंटरमीडिएटली 1 बिट रजिस्टर ई को इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया है, तो पहले शिफ्ट होगा, शिफ्ट ऑपरेशन चलेगा, राइट मोस्ट बिट ई में जाएगा, ई का बिट 15th बिट पोजीशन पे जाएगा. एंड सेम थिंग व्हाटएवर orally I am telling you, those are implemented, those are achieved with the help of micro instructions.
Ma'am, is
कैसे?
this
Yes
ma'am,
beta.
is E the same E which we saw in the adder and logic unit?
AC, हाँ, it is the same register. Yes, accumulator register. Of course.
नहीं
Yes.
मैम, AC नहीं, the E वाला जो रजिस्टर है.
Beta, it can be used for multiple purpose. It is not only, it will not only hold the carry bit, if you mean to say, it can hold any data, 1 bit data.
Okay.
Are you getting it? ठीक है.
मैम ये
Yes.
यही सेम डाउट था कि कॉमन बस में जो ई बिट था उसमें मतलब
हाँ.
इनपुट के लिए तो एरो जा रहा था लेकिन कोई आउटपुट एरो
आपको
नहीं आ
मैंने
रहा
कहा है ना कि वो एक पार्शियल डायग्राम आपको दिया हुआ है, डिटेल डायग्राम और भी कनेक्शंस है, वो सारे कनेक्शंस आपको शो नहीं किए हुए, आपका एब्स्ट्रैक्ट चल रहा है काफी जगह पे. ठीक है. सो सर्कुलर शिफ्ट राइट क्या करेगा आपका एसी, दिस इज द सेम एक्यूमुलेटर रजिस्टर जो हमने एडर एंड लॉजिक के थ्रू ही सारा का सारा इट विल टेक प्लेस, ईच एंड एवरीथिंग, राइट. तो क्या होगा, हाउ सर्कुलर शिफ्ट राइट एंड सर्कुलर शिफ्ट लेफ्ट बेसिकली वर्क्स इंटरनली तो कंट्रोल यूनिट, अरिथमेटिकल लॉजिकल यूनिट ही ये सब कर रहा है. ओके. तो शिफ्ट एसी को शिफ्ट राइट मतलब एक्सट्रीम राइट मोस्ट बिट को शिफ्ट राइट करके जो भी रिजल्टेंट वैल्यू आएगी वो एसी में जाएगी, रिजल्टेंट वैल्यू, और रिजल्टेंट वैल्यू एसी में गई, और आपका क्या जो ओरिजिनल एसी है उसका 0th बिट को निकाला, ई में डाला, फिर ई के बिट को निकाल के 15th उसमें डाला. सॉरी. नाउ यू कैन सी, देखो ये रिजल्टेंट वैल्यू शिफ्ट राइट किया, अगेन आई एम गोइंग टू रिपीट, शिफ्ट राइट किया 1 बिट, तो लेफ्ट मोस्ट, जो एक्सट्रीम लेफ्ट मोस्ट बिट है वो फ्री हो गया, एक्सट्रीम लेफ्ट मोस्ट बिट, और एक्सट्रीम लेफ्ट मोस्ट बिट पे जो राइट एसी का राइट मोस्ट बिट है वो 0 ई में डाला, ई से निकाल के वो 15 बिट पे डाला. We can take one example, numerical example if you want. If you want to understand the concept, I can take one example. Similarly, circular shift left क्या करता है कि लेफ्ट साइड में शिफ्टिंग की, एक्सट्रीम लेफ्ट मोस्ट बिट को ई से डाला और ई से उठा के उसे राइट मोस्ट बिट में डाला. देखो ये एग्जांपल दिया ही हुआ है, यू कैन सी कि आपका क्या है. सपोज एसी के अंदर वैल्यू जो है वो ये पड़ी हुई है 007 हेक्साडेसिमल में. से दिस इज द हेक्साडेसिमल वैल्यू 007. इसकी बाइनरी वैल्यू क्या हुई? बाइनरी वैल्यू हर हेक्साडेसिमल कोरस्पॉन्ड्स टू द 4 बाइनरी बिट्स. तो आपका क्या है, वैल्यू बन गई 7 की हुई 011 000 000 और ये आपका साइज हुआ, ये तो हुआ आपका 4 4 8 4 12 12 बिट हुए आपके. इन बाइनरी दिस इज इक्विवेलेंट टू 12 बिट्स. आप 16 बिट डेटा ले सकते हैं. So I will take one example and I will illustrate you the concept. So आपका क्या है, suppose (16 बिट आपने डेटा लिया. कौन सा डेटा लिया आप? सपोज क्या ले लेते हैं कि कोई सा भी रैंडम डेटा ले लो, 101 की कंकैटिनेटेड एनी सीरीज 16 बिट. कितने बिट हुआ आपके? 1. यू कैन इंक्रीज द साइज आल्सो. कितने हुए आपके बिट्स? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16. ये आपके 16 बिट्स हुआ. 16 बिट डेटा हुआ. तो सर्कुलर शिफ्ट राइट कैसे होगा? सर्कुलर शिफ्ट राइट बेसिकली जो इट विल बिगिन फ्रॉम 0th बिट, दिस विल बी टर्म्ड एज 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 up to 15. So circular shift, how will it work? Circular shift right basically. How will it work? हाँ लिख लेते हैं. सर्कुलर शिफ्ट राइट. राइट तो क्या होगा कि जो एक्सट्रीम राइट मोस्ट बिट है उसे एक्सट्रैक्ट करके we will transfer AC का एक्सट्रीम राइट 0th बिट, बेसिकली 0 बिट is transferred to which register? 1 bit register E में ट्रांसफर कर दिया. दैट मीन्स E की वैल्यू क्या बन गई? 1 हो गई और ये बिट बाय बिट यहाँ ट्रांसफर हो गया. तो दैट मीन्स इस 1 को निकाला और E में चला गया. तो ये जो इसकी पोजीशन जो है E वाली पोजीशन बन जाएगी. ये 0 यहाँ पर आ जाएगा. हर बिट आगे जाता जाएगा आपका. सो दैट मीन्स जो लास्ट वाला बिट है वो ब्लैंक हो जाएगा. यहाँ एक पोजीशन आपकी फ्री हो गई. जो 0th, अब 0th ये बन गया, 1 ये बन गया, 2 ये बन गया, 3 हो गया, फिर 15th वाली लोकेशन हमारी फ्री है. और क्या करना है अब? AC की वैल्यू E में गई और इसके बाद E की वैल्यू कहाँ डाली? E की वैल्यू डाली AC के 15th लोकेशन पर. प्रैक्टिकली भी आपको ऐसे इंप्लीमेंट करना है. आपकी 15th लोकेशन पर डाल दी E की वैल्यू, राइट. और रिजल्टेंट वैल्यू आपकी कहाँ गई? जो शिफ्ट के बाद आई वो अल्टीमेटली AC में चला गया रिजल्ट आपका. तो ये आपकी जो E की वैल्यू क्या थी? 1 थी, 1 आई थी हमारी. तो ये 1 वैल्यू को उठा के एक्सट्रीम लेफ्ट मोस्ट बिट बन जाएगा. अब आप इसे डेसिमल में कन्वर्ट करेंगे, देन दैट विल बी योर फाइनल आंसर. डेसिमल में कन्वर्ट करना विल लर्न इन सेकंड चैप्टर. Okay, so that way you have to implement this circular shift left and circular shift right in practical as well, and then you have to cross check manually also for its results. And next is सर्कुलर शिफ्ट लेफ्ट, लेफ्ट में आपका इसका वाइस वर्सा हो जाएगा. और इंक्रीमेंट क्या करता है, इट विल इंक्रीमेंट द वैल्यू ऑफ AC by 1. इसमें बेस्ड अब आप न्यूमेरिकल क्वेश्चंस करेंगे ऑफ योर ऑन एंड ब्रिंग द डाउट्स ऑन थर्सडेज क्लास. हम बैक एक्सरसाइज डिस्कस करेंगे ऑन थर्सडे एज वेल एज विल डिस्कस द प्रैक्टिकल पोर्शन. सो यू हैव टू I mean parallelly you have to implement practicals, parallelly you have to solve the assignments, and parallelly you have to revise the entire lecture whichever we are doing in the classroom. So increment क्या करेगा, it basically will increment the contents of AC by 1. And SPA क्या होता है, SPA skip if positive. If the contents of AC are positive, that means, and then it will skip, if this condition comes out to be true, then it will skip one statement. You listen carefully because you have to implement practically also. Skip if positive, that means अगर इसका AC के contents अगर positive है तो उसके लिए how will you determine. देखो in third chapter we'll study जो इसका very first bit होता है, basically it will work as a sign bit. कोई भी वैल्यू है AC के अंदर अगर बाइनरी में है तो we are talking about the binary value. So the leftmost bit works as a sign bit. If value of sign bit is 1, the number is treated as a negative number. अगर इसकी वैल्यू 0 है तो it is treated as a positive number. मतलब 1 stands for the negative sign, 0 stands for the positive sign. So this is the 15th bit. So how we are going to check it, whether value is positive or negative. If 15th bit is 1, then that means number is negative. If 15th bit is 0, that means number is positive. So on the basis of that, we are going to mention it. So similarly, how to check it? Skip if AC is 0. तो if AC का 15 bit 0 है तो हमें एक स्टेटमेंट को स्किप कराना है. हम चाहते हैं एग्जीक्यूशन टाइम में कंट्रोल एक जो पीसी को एग्जीक्यूट करना चाहता था, पीसी में जिस इंस्ट्रक्शन का एड्रेस था उससे नेक्स्ट वाली पे जंप कर जाए, तो पीसी को इंक्रीमेंट कर दो, मतलब वो स्किप हो गई. इन केस इट कम्स आउट टू बी 0. और skip if it is negative, skip if AC is negative. तो अगर AC की 15 बिट नेगेटिव है तो अगेन वी वांट टू जंप वन स्टेटमेंट. जंप करने के लिए मतलब हम पीसी को जो रीसेंट कंट्रोल था एग्जीक्यूट होना था उसे जंप करते हुए हम उसे PC+1 कर दे, कंट्रोल एक नेक्स्ट पे चला जाए, जंप कर जाए, प्रोवाइडेड उसका लेफ्ट मोस्ट बिट जो साइन बिट है इट कम्स आउट टू बी 1. और skip if AC is equal to 0. अगर AC की वैल्यू इटसेल्फ मैग्नीट्यूड की वैल्यू 0 आ जाती है देन the PC should be incremented. जहां पे जंपिंग की बात आए तो PC को इंक्रीमेंट कर देना by 1. Skip if E comes out to be 0. That stands for the 0. If E is equal to 0, तो what we want कि वो जंप कर जाए, कंट्रोल जो हमारा सीक्वेंशियली एग्जीक्यूट हो रहा है प्रोग्राम वो जंप करके नेक्स्ट स्टेटमेंट पे आ जाए, तो PC should be equal to 1. और हॉल्ट क्या करेगा, हॉल्ट बेसिकली इट विल हॉल्ट द कंप्यूटर. और जो आपका S is a start stop flip flop. Basically this works as a stop bit. Stop bit है तो it will be enabled, 0 हो जाएगा, और 0 होते ही सिस्टम क्या होगा, halt हो जाएगा. So you have to implement it practically as well, theoretically as well, and based on these concepts in back exercise you have to solve now question numbers. Let me show you. Back exercise question. First 12 questions I told you, excluding one question. गूगल क्लासरूम पे आज आप अपने असाइनमेंट्स लोड करेंगे, अपलोड करेंगे. I'm coming to the back exercise. हाँ, ये आप already you have done with question 5.5. Question 6 is no need to go for question 6, you can leave it. And what 2 instructions are needed in the basic computer in order to set the E flip flop. The question 5.8 we already have done with. ये आपके हैं क्वेश्चंस हैं, देखो ये क्वेश्चन नंबर 1, 2 we already have done with, question number 3 we already have done with, question number 4 we already have done with, question number 5 we already have done with, and question number 7, what are the two instructions needed in the basic computer in order to set the E flip flop to 1? These are the two instructions कि E के E flip flop को value 1 कैसे बनाई जा सकती है, कि what two instructions are required. First of all we'll have to make it value as 0, फिर उसकी वैल्यू हम क्लियर कर देंगे, कॉम्प्लीमेंट कर देंगे. मतलब वन इंस्ट्रक्शन नीडेड इज टू इज द क्लियर ई क्या करेगा, इसकी वैल्यू को 0 कर देगा इन केस सम गार्बेज वैल्यू इज अर्लियर लाइंग देयर इन द ई रजिस्टर. एंड कॉम्प्लीमेंट ई क्या करेगा, उसकी वैल्यू को कॉम्प्लीमेंट कर देगा, वंस कॉम्प्लीमेंट लेगा. इस वे में वी आर बीइंग एबल टू मेक द वैल्यू ऑफ ई एज 1. मतलब ई को 1 कैसे बनाना है, पहले उसे 0 बनाओ फिर उसे 1 बनाओ. 0 बनाने के लिए CLE इज नीडेड और 1 बनाने के लिए CME इज नीडेड. सो दिस इज द फाइनल आंसर. ये क्वेश्चन आपका, the content of AC in the basic computer in hexadecimal is A937. I'm going to give you the only hint, but ultimately you have to solve this question of your own. Next class में आप इसे मुझे डिटेल में बताएंगे और करके आएंगे. The content of AC in the basic computer in hexadecimal is A937. AC के अंदर देखो क्या वैल्यू इनिशियली है, A937 है, and the initial value of E is 1. E की वैल्यू 1 है. All these are the given contents. Determine the contents of AC. AC की वैल्यू फाइंड आउट करनी है, E की करनी है, PC की करनी है. PC की इनिशियल वैल्यू 021 है, बुक में ये क्वेश्चन में गिवन है. AR की वैल्यू फाइंड आउट करनी है, IR की करनी है इन हेक्साडेसिमल आफ्टर द एग्जीक्यूशन ऑफ CLA इंस्ट्रक्शन. मतलब पहले CLA को चलाना है, रिपीट 11 मोर टाइम्स स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम ईच वन ऑफ द रजिस्टर रेफरेंस इंस्ट्रक्शन. मतलब CLA को पहले पैक करना है, फिर रिमेनिंग 11 जो रजिस्टर रेफरेंस इंस्ट्रक्शन है उस पे भी करके यू हैव टू फाइंड आउट द वैल्यूज ऑफ ऑल दीज रजिस्टर्स वंस दिस इंस्ट्रक्शन गेट्स एग्जीक्यूटेड. अब देखो कि CLA के अगेंस्ट ये आपकी इनिशियल वैल्यूज है. इनिशियल वैल्यू क्या है, 1 है. AC के अंदर ये वैल्यू है, PC के अंदर ये वैल्यू है. AR की आपको फाइंड आउट करनी है, IR की फाइंड आउट करनी है, AC की फाइंड आउट करनी है, CLA अगर एग्जीक्यूट होता है E की फाइंड आउट करनी है. राइट, CLA इज द इंस्ट्रक्शन. अब CLA की हेक्साडेसिमल वैल्यू आपको यू विल हैव टू गो लुक इनटू द बुक ओनली फॉर इट्स वैल्यू. बुक में देखो टेबुलेटेड फॉर्म में थी वैल्यूज आपकी. आई टोल्ड यू वंस कि उसकी हेक्साडेसिमल कोडेड वैल्यूज आर रिक्वायर्ड इन सॉल्विंग द क्वेश्चन. आप साथ साथ करेंगे, यू विल नॉट मिस द क्वेश्चन. Because in your Viva all these questions can be asked, so be ready for the explanation also. ये आपका हेक्सा कोडेड वैल्यूज है. देखो जहां भी एंड इंस्ट्रक्शन की बात आएगी डायरेक्ट एड्रेस की तो आपकी हेक्सा कोडेड वैल्यूज यूज होंगी, और जहां इनडायरेक्ट होगी एंड इनडायरेक्ट में काम कर रही है तो 8XXX 9XXX ऐड ये यूज होंगी. और इन केस अगर आपकी CLA है तो CLA की ये बाइनरी वैल्यू, ये बेसिकली हेक्सा वैल्यूज है, बट बाइनरी में यू कैन कन्वर्ट इट. दीज आर द बाइनरी कोडेड वैल्यू ऑफ हेक्सा कोडेड वैल्यू ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन. कौन सी इंस्ट्रक्शन, CLA. दिस इज द हेक्सा कोडेड वैल्यू ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन CLE. दिस इज द हेक्सा कोडेड वैल्यू ऑफ CMA. ये दीज आर द फिक्स्ड वैल्यू. सो यू विल हैव टू रेफर टू द टेबल इन ऑर्डर टू pick up the values, corresponding values. Okay, you cannot memorize these values, rather you will have to look at the table in order to collect the values of these hexa coded values of all these instructions. तो CLA की कौन सी है, 7800. तो 7800 एक्चुअली इस इंस्ट्रक्शन की वैल्यू है. ये इंस्ट्रक्शन की वैल्यू कहाँ जाएगी, अल्टीमेटली फेचिंग के बाद IR रजिस्टर में जाएगी. तो फेचिंग के बाद IR की वैल्यू क्या बन जाएगी आपकी, तो फेचिंग के बाद आपकी IR की बन जाएगी वैल्यू. यू कैन सी कि IR के अंदर 7800 गया. यू कैन सी 7800 वहां से आया, टेबल से हमने उठाया, तो IR की वैल्यू 7800 बन गई. अब इसके 12 बिट्स आर ट्रीटेड एज द एड्रेस बिट. ये आपके एक्सट्रीम राइट मोस्ट 3 बिट्स जो हेक्सा के हैं, 1 हेक्सा कैरेक्टर कॉरेस्पॉन्ड्स टू द 4 बाइनरी बिट. इसका मतलब 800 बेसिकली जो है इट कॉरेस्पॉन्ड्स टू द 12 बिट वैल्यू, राइट मोस्ट वैल्यू. इट विल वर्क एज द एड्रेस पार्ट और एड्रेस रजिस्टर में क्या आ जाएगा 800. तो इसी से हमें पता चला कि 800 वैल्यू AR में गई. और CLA क्या करता है, क्लियर AC के कंटेंट्स को, जो भी AC में प्रीवियस कंटेंट्स थे, ये कंटेंट्स थे, इसकी वैल्यू को क्लियर कर दिया, 0 बन गए सारे के सारे. and there will be no impact on any other value. No impact मतलब e की वैल्यू जो 1 है वो 1 ही रहेगी, pc की वैल्यू इंक्रीमेंट हो जाएगी जो पहले थी, क्योंकि CLA ने एग्जीक्यूट किया तो PC 22 हो गया, इनिशियली 21 था। AR की वैल्यू कहाँ से आई, इसके 12 बिट्स उठा के AR में चले गए, फैचिंग के बाद चले गए, और उसके बाद IR के अंदर ये चला गया। सो दिस इज आवर आंसर। और सिमिलरली CLE के लिए करना है। CLE का फंक्शन क्या होता है कि क्लियर ई, आपको ये सारे सॉल्व करके आने हैं, और फिर ऑन क्लियर ई मतलब ई के कंटेंट्स को 0 करेंगे, और उसके बाद देयर विल बी नो इम्पैक्ट ऑन वैल्यू ऑफ इनिशियल वैल्यू ऑफ AC, जो इनिशियल फेज में लिया आपने इसे बेस वैल्यू मान के चलना आपने। AC की वैल्यू सेम रहेगी, PC की वैल्यू इंक्रीमेंट हो गई, और आपने देखना है टेबल से उठानी है। CLE की वैल्यू क्या है, जो बुक वाली टेबल से उठाई तो 74 वैल्यू है, और इसके 400 विल वर्क एज द कंटेंट्स ऑफ AR। और CMA क्या करेगा, कॉम्प्लीमेंट AC। कॉम्प्लीमेंट AC क्या करेगा, AC के कंटेंट्स का कॉम्प्लीमेंट, और AC के कौन से वाले कंटेंट्स को लेके चलेंगे जो इनिशियली गिवन थे, A937। इसे पहले बाइनरी में कन्वर्ट करोगे, 7 के कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग, 3 के कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग, फिर उसका कॉम्प्लीमेंट लेके उसे फिर रिकन्वर्ट करोगे हेक्सा में, फिर ये वैल्यू फाइनल आएगी आपकी कि रिजल्टेंट वैल्यू आई 56C8। उसके लिए हेक्सा कोडेड वैल्यू जो टेबल है वो आप 3rd चैप्टर वाली टेबल को सामने रख के इसे करोगे। CMA क्या करेगा, कॉम्प्लीमेंट ई। तो आप ये सारे क्वेश्चन करके आएंगे। 5.9 ये 5.10 है, ये भी इसी टाइप का क्वेश्चन है। आई विल शेयर दिस PPT विद यू, ये आपके सॉल्यूशंस भी आपके साथ अवेलेबल है, राइट, until question number 12 you have to solve till question number 12 from back exercise, and bring the doubts in the class, but I'm not going to solve each and every question. This is wrong. You have to put the efforts once I have made the logic clear to you. Now further you have to try to solve all the questions of your own and bring the doubts in the classroom. Now I'm showing you the back exercise till question number 12. You have to solve it and bring it in the class, and you have to upload in the form of assignment as well. Right? So till afterwards, I will take all doubts on next scheduled class to be held on Thursday. I will take all doubts of practical doubts as well as all the theory doubts. Right, afterwards only single topic, the interrupt cycle is left, and in the next class I'm going to ask the questions from you. Rather, I will give you the problem, question number 9, question number 10, either